90-day streets never sleep, as I always say. So now we're back again, and this time we're going to start off with Mido. Mido right now has always been under fire for the moment that he set his sights on our TV screens. But let's see what this Reddit had to say. Mido is a 41-year-old man-child, clown of all clowns. Oh my god, this guy is seriously just sitting there staring at photos of himself. Not that I am surprised. I mean, none of us are surprised. Let's be real. If anything, we were just even more cringed out by him, amongst other words that I could use. What an absolute clown. This 41-year-old man-child is never going to make it as an actor in the US. Like, let's be serious here. No, he needs to be serious here. We already know he's not going to be one. He needs to pack it up and go back to his country. I cannot stand him. Who does he think he is? Now, just to go back to the statement itself in particular, go back to your country. Now, as you know, I like to keep the same energy for everyone, regardless of who the hell they are. So, recently, obviously, we know Shekinah came out with the term "go back to your country" when she was responding back to Thais. That caused a lot of controversy, and a lot of people are now on alert of Shekinah's activities, right? So therefore, we definitely given her a certain level of energy. Now, I understand that sometimes in life, people say things and then they'll say, yeah, but when I said it, I didn't mean it that way because I said it in a different type of context and I said it from a different type of perspective. Folks, no matter how you say something, a lot of the time, it doesn't matter if your context or the perspective is different, especially if you say certain things that can be similar to something that is generally offensive, whether that be racism, xenophobic, or anything else that is just not nice. So, I would say, if anything, if this person's watching this, change your wording next time. Say something more like, he needs to pack it up and leave Debbie alone. Or he needs to pack it up and, that's it. Just keep it simple. Yeah. I would say pack him and go home, but he hasn't got home in America. So yeah, either way though, I feel like that's a better way of saying it. But either way though, you do what you with that information, folks. I'm just saying that people definitely need to be more alert of how they're going to type things, okay? Now also, how in the world do people like Mido keep getting accepted into the United States so damn easily? Where is the logic here? Meanwhile, the best couple in 90-day history, not naming names for who haven't watched the newest 90-day series episodes, keeps getting denied over and over again. Well, folks, I've already told you that couple is, and I'll tell you again right now, because obviously I covered that episode of 90-day Diaries. And this person is talking about Kenny and Armando. And interesting enough, we are going to be talking about Ken, Armando, and Hannah shortly as well, so please do stay tuned for that, okay? Continues by saying, how does someone like Mido get approved, while other legit couples don't? You think the embassy/immigration would know the show by now and stop letting these obvious scammers through. He is clearly not here for Debbie. Fake relationship, fake storyline, and the whole thing is ridiculous. To be honest with you, even if they did know the show, it wouldn't really change anything, simply because, well, if you look at it in the situation regarding Mido himself in particular, the show aired after he had already been in America, okay? Obviously, when they were filming, he obviously had to move from Egypt. Yeah, he had to move from Egypt to America, right? But they wouldn't know about his behavior up until the show came out. So to be fair, that wouldn't really work for them. But I will say this, though, regarding Kenny and Armando got denied. One of the reasons he got denied was because of the age gap between him and Kenny, which is crazy busy because we've seen other couples who have age gaps and they haven't had that issue. Rebecca and Zaid, for example. The woman was literally 47. This guy was 26. You know what I mean? That's 21 years apart, right? And he got approved. So to be fair, though, it's just the unfortunate thing is that there is never anything consistent within the government system. Oh, to be fair, there's never anything consistent in anything in life, to be fair, for the most part. So really and truly, we will never know and we will never understand why some people get through the borders and why other people don't. But unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But either way, though, let me know exactly what you're thinking, obviously, regarding the thread here with Mido. Is he the clown of clowns? Give me your thoughts. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Now, this one here is all about Marissa and Edward. Now, when it comes to this one here, all right, Edward, time for you to go. Get up to speed. Now, of course, in the most recent season so far, Marissa has struggled to adjust with Edward being in her home because she feels like he does not have a button of urgency. She feels like he's just somebody that's just taking life just as like, yeah, but isn't really willing to get with the program, which is something that is definitely irritating her. But before I expand on that, let's read the rest of it. She talks about him like she's trained a new employee. be. Maybe she should circle back to being single. I don't think she has demonstrated advanced understanding of emotional logistics. Maybe they should shelf this relationship. Now listen, to be honest with you, up until the most recent episode, I would have said 100% this relationship needs to be shelved. But Marissa actually, in my opinion, did turn things around, and I do feel like the relationship may have hope. Based on the fact that this week she finally addressed herself in ways that actually made sense. And she basically said to this man, listen, boom, I need you to become emotionally available. I need you to tell me when things aren't working for you. She basically said to him, listen, I'm not really happy with the fact that you just see life as just get up and go. Like you don't ever think about the negatives or think about things that can do better. You just want to keep going and keep going. And obviously Edward explained to her that, listen, in my life, I've never had a chance to stop, sit down and think about my emotions, because at the end of the day, I've had to keep going no matter what, which is something that a lot of men would be able to relate to. But obviously Marissa, even though she wasn't really listening to what he was trying to say, she did still say to him, but at the same time though, I need you to tell me when something isn't working for you, because right now, I am the one that is now starting to feel like I'm actually being a bitch towards you, because all I do is complain to you about this and other, and I get nothing back from you. I need you to tell me things, right? And to be fair, this is when she really hit the nail on the head. She said, I basically need him to be a man that's going to put me in my place. Because she knows that she's the type of person that will happily keep going on and on and on and on and on and on. And she knows that sometime when she's moving mad, she needs someone to tell her that she's moving mad. So at that moment in time, I was like, you know what? The fact that she's got this level of accountability to understand that the way she does things sometimes is too much, but she needs someone to tell her in is a big good thing in terms of that she's aware of this. So to be fair though, does Edward becoming more emotionally available, would that put him in a position when he would know when to stand up business when it comes to Marissa doing too much? Yes, because at the end of the day, if he's going to be rejecting how things make him feel, then that means he's also going to be rejecting the actions that come with it. Do you see what I'm saying? End of the day, if I'm going to put my foot down, I have to understand that how this person's making me feel in this situation for me to be able to put my foot down. Do you see what I'm saying? So to be fair, I do feel like there may be a little bit of hope for these two moving forward, but this is something that only literally happened in the most recent episode. So we have to see obviously how things pan out moving forward. But hey, do what you will and let me know your thoughts in the comments section, whether you agree, disagree. Now with this one here, we're going to move on to a very interesting one regarding Shekinah and Kara. So given to us here by Shibudi, there is a post that has come out where this one here was circling online that Kara seems to have actually responded to, apparently so. Says here, the allegation by Shekinah, Kara made sweet, passionate love with a sharp entertainment producer. So obviously, as you can see here, now I know already by default that this is already fake news, because whenever I see this account and I see this cold thing, I'm like, yep, I already know that they're just making up story, because they're all made up for like 9 times out of 10. So with that being said though, but it seems to me that Kara is obviously caught wind of it and decided to respond. And as you can see here, there's this conversation where this person says, now I just want to know who, and it looks like the person responding is Kara, and it looks like Kara is the one that has responded with the voice note. Now whatever the voice note says, who knows? But also on top of that, there's also other obviously responses from the other person that this person's talking to, saying that's effing hilarious, everybody does it, but of course she makes things into something that it's not, basically that being Shekinah. And then of course obviously continues here with Kara saying, yeah, of course, da 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 da. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, do you guys think that Kara actually did sleep with a sharp entertainment producer? I mean, for me personally, I don't really buy it. I don't really believe it personally. I don't think she did personally, but you know, you give me your thoughts either way. But either way though, this is obviously Kara speaking on it, but yeah, you do what you will with that information, folks. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Kenny, Armando, and Hannah. Now, for anybody that has seen my most recent YouTube short, you would know that Armando came out to give us an update regarding the current condition of his daughter Hannah, and that is that she is bleeding in the brain. Since then, he has gone on to then provide us with a series of multiple other updates on his social media account. As you can see here, this is him showing us a video. That's it. So this is a video, this is a clip of, I believe, Hannah being flown into the hospital by the helicopter, obviously, in this video. And down below he says, "My baby girl, please send healing vibes her way." Then also continues here with other people, repost other people showing their love and support for Hannah, including also Kenny himself giving us update where he is currently at. And he says, "Thank you for all your love for Hannah. I've been up in Hawaii for a family funeral when I got the word of Hannah. I am currently stuck in the Detroit airport waiting to board for Phoenix. I'll be with her soon. Armando's mum and sister are there with Hannah." Okay. Then also continue by giving us another update here where he says, "Still no further updates. Currently getting prepped for another scan." Then Armando comes up with this post where he says, "I'm honestly embarrassed to ask for help. I tried to say no, but our close friend Tony, who has been a supportive angel, reminded me that it's okay to lean on the people who care. If you're able to donate, it would mean the world to us. Medical bills are piling up and every little bit truly helps. If you're not able to donate, even sharing this would mean so much. So, please only do what you can. Thank you for your love, prayers and support." And as you can see, the link to GoFundMe. Now, I believe the reason why Tony has been mentioned here, and I could be wrong, so if you are somebody who lives in Mexico or somebody that already knows about how Mexico works, but is Mexico a country is Mexico a country where you cannot create a GoFundMe? Because the GoFundMe, even though it's for Hannah, it has been created by Tony, and I believe it's probably because Tony lives in America, and therefore a GoFundMe can be made by somebody that obviously has an American address. I'm not too sure if you can make a GoFundMe if you live in Mexico. So I think that's why Tony had to be mentioned in this post, okay? And then after that goes on with another series of posts of showing every single person that has reposted their story regarding the GoFundMe link itself in particular, as you can see here, provided by Armando himself. But then also, not only did he continue with these various updates about the situation happening right now with his daughter, but he also went on to give us another update. And as you can see, he has of July 15th, which is obviously yesterday, my time at this point anyway, 8:30 p.m. PST. He says, "We don't have the answers we've been praying for. The doctors are continuing to run more extensive scans as I write this, and the neurologist is still searching for the cause of what happened to Hannah. We're hoping to have the results from today's scan sometime tomorrow. If those don't provide answers, the medical team plans to move forward with a more invasive procedure in the next day or two. The waiting has been incredibly difficult, but we're holding on to hope and trusting each other, and trusting each test, my apologies, brings us one step closer to understanding what's happening. Please continue to keep Hannah and our family in your thoughts and prayers. Your messages, love and support have meant more words than you can express. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you feel led and are in a position to help, a wonderful friend, supporter or a fan of the show, Tony organized a GoFundMe to help with Hannah's medical expenses. If you can't donate, sharing it would mean so much to us. The link is in my bio. Thank you for standing with us through this time." So this is the current update that has been given and the current status that is happening obviously with Hannah. And as you can see, a GoFundMe has now been requested by Kenny and Armando, or at least Kenny, Armando and Tony. Some of you may already know how I feel about GoFundMes. I always say when it comes to GoFundMe and a 90-day cast member, for me it's always a big no-no, because boy, it's always very suspicious in my humble opinion. But you know what though, guys? Sometimes in life there are exceptions. But here's the thing, and this is all I'm going to say. Right now, there is a little girl who is in hospital and is in a very unfortunate situation. And all I care about is that the doctors can do what they can to make sure that she comes out still with us. So, do what you will. Do what you will. With that being said, thank you so much for your time. Peace.